difficulties there. Again, welcome all the media houses, all the listeners out there. The reason we're here today, as Brother Mayan alluded to earlier, is we wanted to clear the air about a few allegations and information that are out there in regard to my position as NSG and then Dengue as Secretary of Finance. We are not suspended. We are effectively working as a federation at the moment. For those that don't know about the rules or how we came into the office, we were elected through a General Assembly, and only General Assembly can take us out. Therefore, those illegal suspensions that were made and also illegal appointments that were made are not effective whatsoever. That tells the suspension. The other part is the allegations that were made, and there are 4 points that were put out there. Not that they're actually that important, but I just wanted to highlight the fact that all the claims or all the 4 allegations that are put out there are all false. We have the records and the proofs to let you people actually go through them and see for yourself. There is no point within our working time within the Federation have I ever made any illegal documentation or signing on someone's behalf. I get to sign on my own signatures since I've been in the Federation. And being the head of the admin in the Federation, I'm actually authorized to write on behalf of the Federation, so I actually don't need to do any fake documentation as an SG for the Federation. The other part which is, I think there was also claims about COVID, the COVID situation and how that has affected the team. Actually, no, that is not true as well. And I think in our last press conference we touched on that. It's sad to see this come to this. The people who actually brought the COVID within basketball federation was none other than the federation president himself. I have never caught COVID. The team that left from Juba here, a team that was told to cater for themselves because President Lula doesn't want to pay for our bills, left from here going to Cameroon. There was 13 of us, I believe, when we went to Cameroon, including players and the coaches, and also part of the admin. The people that went there from Juba all went there. And for those that don't understand, the federation, the basketball team literally looks like 2 packs. There's the international players, which are Luls, and I'm sorry to say that. There's the South Sudan, or they call them the Juba boys. So we are considered the Juba boys. We left from here going to Cameroon. The unfortunate happened, and then COVID was picked up, and it started. The first patient was himself, president, who was not staying with the team. Now listen carefully. He was not staying with the team. All of us are staying in one hotel. He was staying in a different hotel. 3 of them staying in a different hotel. I'm not going to mention the name of the other 2, but there were 3 of them, and those 3 are actually the people that caught COVID. And guess what? By the time we came back to South Sudan, 19 of South Sudanese players caught COVID. So, if you want to talk about what happened around that time in regard to COVID, no, we know where COVID came from, and the team that left from here, we had to cater for ourselves as far as the ticket and the hotel, and that was paid by none other than actually part of the government, which is the national security through a suit. They gave us tickets, not money. They gave us tickets to fly and back, including the hotel that Dengue themselves paid for. So by the time when we came back from Cameroon to Nairobi, now we have our own tickets. So our flight arrangement are different. So we came back to Nairobi, and then from Nairobi proceeded to Juba. And then when we came to Juba, because 19 people from that team caught COVID, we had to quarantine for 14 days in Juba before we got out. That's just to correct the point of COVID that was made in that regard. Also, he has mentioned the fact that we hired a coach without his knowledge for a women program. That is not true as well. There was a person by name David Ebert. David Ebert was the person, he's actually the person that knows all the South Sudanese women who plays basketball. And he resides in America. That person, through our connection and relationship that we've built since being in office, we felt like he would be the right person to actually be the coach for our women programs. So we've been discussing hiring a coach for women for almost a year. When came a time for the tournament, we reached out to get to hire a coach. And this process was done as an executive, three of us, in which he denied that he was not part of it. You know, that process can go through. And now another person came in the mix. And this was a suggestion from our women who are playing basketball at the highest level. We have some South Sudanese women who are playing in WNBA, namely Abid Bulgak. We have Sarah Chan. We also have a Cheltaj. These are three very powerful women that plays basketball at the highest level. For them to be part of the basketball women in South Sudan, we felt like we give them a voice. We asked them, what do you people want? Okay, they actually suggested a name. And that name is none other than Coach Lindsay Harding, in which we came and we discussed it. And through conversations and also interviews, Lindsay was able to actually give the job. We approved that we gave her the job. The president has an issue with that because that job was supposed to go to someone that he knows. And a report that came to us is actually someone by the name of Steve Ver that was supposed to be the coach for the women. That he knew about it, something we discussed. So there's no truth to that. The last part was it's.
You say the federation is being managed. You wanted the federation to be managed.
Now back to where these issues came in. I want you South Sudanese to listen very carefully. About a year and a half ago, there's a FIBA map, which is a form that is under SG's name, who happened to be myself. That FIBA map is where all the coaches and the players are located. So it's a software that controls all the South Sudanese players. Because of the issue with the women and hiring the coach and stuff, we had problems and Luel requested to be the one in charge of that process. We allowed it to happen about a year ago. And that process went on until up to this point that our national team is doing good. And that's a credit to so many people that have done their part for us to get there. Now, 2 weeks ago, it came clear to us exactly why, that map was removed the way it was removed. Because the way it was removed, our emails, both our emails, my email, the federation email, mine, for instance, is Marier at basketball, Marier.basketball, FIBA.basketball. And Dane is also the same, and he's is also the same. We all have our emails, SSBF emails. Our emails were shut down. Listen carefully. Our email was shut down a year and a half ago. It came to us now, the reason our emails were shut down is because of what just happened recently. There's a deal that was signed between Stanbic, MBA Africa, and Luol Deng Foundation. That deal that was signed, I, as head of the admin, supposed to be a signee, and that deal was supposed to be between MBA and SSBF. Listen very carefully. That deal is supposed to be between MBA and SSBF. Came out as an LDF deal. And all the communication for that I have when I was communicating with MBA. I have communication with MBA that indicates the deal was going to be signed between SSBF and MBA. And I was supposed to actually sign in it. So now, for you who have heard them say that I don't want to work with these people, I don't want to see these people, I don't want to sit down with these people, these are part of the reasons. There's another deal that was signed between US 8 and LDF. That deal as well was a deal that the first meeting we took as a federation, as an office, myself, Deng Biar, President Luel, with US 8. Those deals were supposed to be also SSBF, US 8. and it was actually wider. It wasn't just, in terms of skills and training and stuff like that. That deal came out also as an LDF. So for us, the issue here is the conflict of interest. We go in as a federation, project comes out as an LDF. We actually don't have any problem. The problem is federation trying to be managed through a foundation. Even trainings, FIBA trainings, ever since we took over the federation, we have trained nearly 80 South Sudanese. Refs, coaches, media, doctors, photographers, even women coaches, and actually 2 sets of training for women coaches. We've done all these trainings. From the time that our emails were deactivated up till recently, when in April, before we went to Egypt, Cairo, when Cobra has to go compete, we lost a lot of trainings that we couldn't have got as a country. We were getting those in almost 2-month base. We could have got training. We have not received any training for a year, over a year. We go to Cairo, we meet FIBA, we speak to FIBA. FIBA asked me to provide him an email. So I gave them an email. Guess what? Training started again. Training started. We sent doctors to do training in Uganda about 2 months ago. And we also sent other women to go to Tanzania for training. The last part of training, which was supposed to happen last weekend, in which 30 South Sudanese, 15 coaches, 15 refs were supposed to be trained by FIBA, and that training was going to be conducted here in South Sudan. That training was suspended at the last minute by Luel. Suspended at the last minute by Luel because it's not being done independently from LDF. He wanted all the trainings to be done through his foundation. They will touch on that with the financial benefits and how that worked. But for me, as an SG, I feel there isn't a room for us where we would allow SSBF to be managed through a foundation. At this point, I'm going to say this, and I want you guys to listen very carefully. We have no problem. We are saying the opposite of what Luel has told people, that he doesn't want to work with us. We actually want to work with him, but we will work with him only when we can do things right. Doing things right through Constitution doesn't mean we can work together. And it's sad to say, all the people that are working in the foundation happen to be a family. And for us to be part of that, we can be. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to allow Dane to move on, and then later on when I make my final remarks, I'll answer any question you guys have. Thank you.